Check it out. Thursdays, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Eastern. A healthy dose of Jersey Girl wisdom. Live with Rev Jersey Girl. Sponsored by New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Radio, music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Nahmod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.
Greetings. Hello. This is Michelle Wadleigh, Jersey Girl, with Jersey Girl Wisdom. And today I am coming to you from Unity Village in Lee Summit, Missouri. And we are in a lobby of their beautiful hotel. And sometimes people are going to be walking by and waving hello. So you might see us interact with some people, but it's good to be with you. Last week we were preparing for our journey, so I didn't get to see you last week. But I'm so glad to be back. And today and this week is special for a number of reasons. And my guest here that I have today is a new friend and a colleague. And I want you to give a lot of love and say hello to the Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer. Welcome to my show.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Michelle, nice to be with you.
It's good to have you. We are newly acquainted because in Planned Happiness Institute, the organization that my husband and I founded. So remember, I'm the spiritual director of Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey and the co-director for Planned Happiness Institute. Planned Happiness Institute belongs to Anton, that's the way it's pronounced. It's Associated New Thought Net.
Affiliated.
I do get that wrong. Affiliated New Thought Network. And so I'm going to let Dr. Jerry tell you about it because he is the president of Anton. And so it's actually lovely. So I'm going to let him begin to tell you. I know that Diego has the website and some things set up for you, and then I'll just kind of pop in and tell you what my experience has been with that. So tell me why Anton, why you're part of it, and tell us about it. Tell the world about it because many of them don't know.
Wonderful, and thank you for the opportunity. Great to be with you today. Good. So Anton, the Affiliated New Thought Network, is a membership organization of New Thought centers, churches, and organizations. So religious science, science of mind, unity, divine science, other New Thought organizations, centers, churches, and organizations, as well as individual ministers, practitioners, authors, lecturers, students, and people. So organizations as well as individuals make up our membership, and we have almost 100 members so far.
So it sounds small when you think about some organizations, but it's a young organization. It started in what, 1992?
92. So okay. 30 years next year.
Right. Lovely,
yes.
Lovely.
Yep.
So, and the thing I want you to know is having all those different people, all those different organizations represented makes it just this gigantic love fest. It is a love fest. And people are not here. I was going to say people aren't here to promote themselves, but that's not necessarily true. but they're invited. Everyone's invited to be bold. Everyone feels invited. I mean, it seems that way, that if someone has a brilliant idea, and this is what happens behind the scenes with Anthony, they just say yes, and they invite you to come and to be your bold, beautiful self, and you find other individuals. And all week long, all I have heard was, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help you? Oh, let me send that to you. Oh, let me connect with you. It has just been a beautiful thing. So you're the president, and
Yes.
now you just got voted back in as the president.
So another year, yes.
Okay. Oh, it's 1 year term?
1 year. So I'm on the board for another 3 years.
Okay.
And we elect officers every year.
Okay.
So, but
So
I have
tell us
another
about
fresh
that
year.
role and your vision for Anton. What would you like to have happen, even if it's just 1 more year of you as the president? What would you like to have happen?
So our vision is connecting the New Thought community through consciousness and love. And so we've come a long way because, as we mentioned before, we're religious science and science of mind, we're unity, we're divine science. So all the different flavors or silos, and our purpose is to do away with the silos, recognizing that we really do all speak the same language, believe the same things, say the same things. And so my intention is to continue building our organization, building relationships, letting people know that we're here, and the services that we offer to members as well as to non-members, and continue to invite people to be with us every year as they're able and as we're able at our annual conference.
Beautiful. And so if you're here, if you're watching this, and you are if you are a CSL or you are a minister of any organization, consider participating anyway. It is a beautiful organization to support. I mean, how could we not want to support an organization that wants to support the global idea of coming together in the highest way possible? So it's, the CSL conferences are lovely, and I'm sure Unity conferences are lovely. I've never been to them. I've heard wonderful things. But one where those identities kind of go into the background, and I don't have my name tag on for the moment. I don't even know. Oh, I guess you do have the name of the organization, but I don't think anybody around here cares.
And no, not at all. And the amazing richness that we have the opportunity to access. So the richness of unity, and the richness of CSL, and the richness of divine science, and all of those other organizations that come together as organizations, as well as our individual members.
And we are coming back here next year. Do you know the exact dates?
September 26th to the 30th, 2022 at Unity Village. We're, as you may know, we're right outside Kansas City, so pretty easy to get to, middle of the country. Unity Village is just an amazing place, and we are in the process of posting all the information on our website. So you'll be able to go on and take a look, get more information, and ideally register if you'd like to be with us next year.
So I've been posting pictures on Facebook from the village itself, from the conference, and meeting some new friends. And then I posted pictures of the village, and all I keep hearing is it's on people's bucket list. Don't let it be on your bucket list.
Don't let it be on your bucket list.
Yeah,
it's
check
time.
Check it off. Check it off. I mean, first of all, the meals, the way Unity does the meals, the program is gentle. I came from not knowing almost anybody. Well, I knew some people, to feeling very familiar and welcome pretty quickly. You get absorbed into the sense of family pretty quickly around here. And this week we had Melissa and Z, and many of you know Melissa and Z. They just took my heart away. So many. I want to, for ministers out there listening, or for practitioners, I want you to know that I feel ministered to. I feel absolutely ministered to with the prayers and the music and the spiritual practices, and
And that's a big part of the purpose of this conference is, and if you're a minister or practitioner, you know that you're doing what you're doing and might need to go apart a while. And Unity Village is an absolutely beautiful place. All the creature comforts that you could want.
Yeah.
The food is amazing. And so it just really is a few days to be away and to be fed, to be loved and nurtured.
Right.
That's a big part of the purpose of this. And also to have some fun. Tonight is our auction, and I am the auctioneer, and it is an amazing experience to say the least. So we learn, we grow, we get inspired, and we have fun.
And Bill Marcioni, who was a guest of mine many months back on the show, he rooked me into the talent show. He looked at me. He says, "I'm going to pull you in the talent show." I went, "Oh no." He said, "No, I am." I said, "Oh no, you're not." Yeah. He said, "Come on, it's a script." I said, "All right, what is it?" I don't know how he got me to say yes. Oh, and yes, thank you for the reminder. My husband in the background holding up notes. Amy Steinberg, God bless her. I adore Amy. She was on my show also. I've had a lot of these people on my show. Amy is going to be the music inspiration next year. And the compliment that I think about with Amy is she's just a hoot. Amy is a hoot.
Yeah,
that's I mean, that's, I adore. Besides being so talented, underneath she's just this precious person. So one of the a couple of other things that's happening here, and that is kind of meaningful to me. My husband, you've met him on my show also. He's walking tonight for his ministerial licensing.
Oh, awesome.
And I'm walking today for my doctorate, which is
Awesome.
kind of a fun thing to celebrate and to feel really good about. And so that's kind of a little bit of a special part of today.
And we should say, if you don't mind, Anson Affiliated New Thought Network is a membership organization, as I talked about before. And our educational arm is the Emerson Theological Institute. And so at every Anson conference, we have the Emerson graduation. So that's why all of you will be included in that, which is so exciting.
What I'm really confused by, though, is I have no idea how to put that stole on.
Oh, we'll get you some help.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to help me. It's very confusing. I have to wear the silly hat and the tassel.
Right.
So besides being the president of Anson, you're doing good work in the world.
I am, and thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, tell our audience about the work that you do and where you do it from.
Mm-hmm. So part of my ministry, and I conducted a workshop earlier this week at the conference, has to do with allowing ourselves to feel our grief and loss and anger and those human emotions that we sometimes cover over with the terms are toxic positivity and spiritual bypass.
Oh, it's all good.
So it's all good. Everything's in divine order. Everything is as it should be, and all the rest of that. And the story, very quickly, is my husband died on the way home in the Houston airport, on the way home from this conference 3 years ago. And so he had diagnosed with colon cancer, been through chemo, all of that, got home and really fought with my ego, because my ego was saying, no, you're not supposed to grieve. You're a minister. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to, all of that we tell ourselves. But what do I do with that grief and that feeling of loss and that fear and all the rest of that? So that's part of my ministry is doing workshops and encouraging people to allow themselves to feel what we feel, because we have to feel it so we can heal it. Then the other piece is I'm a founding board member and director of relationship development for Urban Street Angels, which is an organization in San Diego that provides transitional housing for homeless 18 to 25-year-old youth. So we provide housing, employment referrals, and life skills training.
Beautiful.
We have about 120 youth in our program currently.
Wow.
And
what age group you?
18 to 25.
18
so
to 25.
transition age youth. is the term for this age group. And we will be celebrating 10 years next year.
Wow.
Of working to end homelessness in San Diego, because we believe that that's how you do this, is to get them at this age group and help them change their lives.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. I want to take a minute because, like I do like to do every week, is I just want to say to you, and it's interesting to be with you today because I'm not in front of my computer. I'm really just here with you. This organization, the New Thought Media Network, is a good and valuable tool for taking the teaching that we are so busy promoting and living from out into the world. And this is where I ask you, give to New Thought Media, whether you give from as an organization or as an individual, whether you give one time or you give monthly. And, I give monthly, I do what I can do, but my organization gives monthly because we believe in supporting the individuals who are supporting getting this teaching out there. And the programming, this is either a year now or almost a year. This might be a year. This might be a year anniversary. I'm not really sure. I have to go back and check it. But the programming that has picked up over this past year, the amount of programming, the people, the prayers, the visioning. Oh my God, there's so many blessings, people that are bringing amazing messages from all corners. Support the organization. It's like, like those public television stations.
Right. Yes.
We can't do it without you. We actually can't do it without you. And we are grateful to the Hefferland Fund, who did support Reverend Robert Brzezinski and his ministry. God bless them. But that's one time, and we need you to get in there and say, hey, these guys are worth this work. So I just, that's my little ploy for New Thought Media Network that I like to do each time. So, Jerry, it takes a lot of work being the president. You have your ministry.
I have my ministry.
You have your other ministry.
Yes.
And now you're the president again.
Yes.
Why?
Because I love being of service, and I should talk really quickly that we do our conference once a year. Again, Unity Village next year, September 26th through the 30th. We also do a monthly speaker series call, a Zoom call, where we invite key leaders from New Thought, authors, speakers, other leaders to come on and do a one-on-one conversation.
Tell us some people who have
been
on. Tell the audience some people who's been on that.
Let's see. Mitch Horowitz,
which I got to see for the first time, and what a being! What a precious being! Wow.
Paul Selig, Mark Anthony Lord has been with us. Martha Creek has been with us. I had the great joy of being a guest one month. John Harold Moore, Michael Gott. So just a whole long list, and we're working on our schedule for 2022.
Beautiful.
But it's the last Thursday of every month at 9 a.m. Pacific time, available to everyone, our members, as well as the larger New Thought community. So that's available to everyone. And many other services, things like a Facebook page where we share best practices for member ministers.
Lovely.
It's just it's a feeling of family and a feeling of, and you mentioned this when we started, a feeling of yes. We don't do so many of the rules, and there's certainly rules and regulations and structure, but not like there is in a lot of organizations. So the opportunity to come together, to bring a creative idea and have somebody say, that's a great idea, let's work on that together.
Right. Beautiful. I'm going to be bold here and support the organization. And I know that the membership team would probably be happy to hear this. I want to project that we double in size within a year.
We accept that.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I know I certainly will. I'm going to have some some of my new family members, because that's what it feels like. I've already scheduled Michelle Whittington, who
Wonderful.
is beloved, and I'm going to get
Yes.
Martha Creek on my show, and Margaret Pelagi from South Jersey. It's been a little bit of a Jersey fest here. There's a number of us from New Jersey, so it's been fun. No one's too shocked by my accent or my way of being here, which is great. So I know I'll do what I can. And the beautiful thing is, with between New Thought Media and Anton and having the yes, we just get to keep inviting people in, which is lovely. Okay. What's on your heart? I want to know what's, life. We've been through a lot. Everybody, everyone, life is interesting anyway. And I use that word sometimes on purpose, which can mean everything from
yes.
good to really messed up. And I'll try to be clean here. And then COVID hit, and it just exaggerated that whole thing. So what's on your heart?
Being here. What's always on my heart when I come back is my experience with my husband and his passing. 3 years, October 17th. So there is that, and the opportunity again for us New Thought people especially, to not cover up our grief and our feeling of loss with those platitudes. It's been a strange 18 months, and many of us we've missed maybe the birth of grandchildren, or the opportunity to be together for a memorial service or a wedding, or just so many life events that are so important to us that we've not had the opportunity to experience. And and yes, it's all good, and yes, it's in divine order, and I get that, but there's also some grief and some feeling of loss. And so how important it is for us to, as we're beginning to come out and move forward into the new year and ideally get back together, to also treat ourselves with a little extra love and kindness and recognize that we missed.
So the other night we were in a workshop with Z and Melissa, and they did a process, and I won't tell you about it because it's their intellectual property. But the process itself reminded me of how to focus it on my joy and where it's missing. So if you and I, if you're watching, and if you are not in a constant state of joy, I believe that that's something to look at. And grief can sneak up on you, and it can steal your joy, one little feeling at a time. And sometimes we don't know that we're grieving.
Absolutely.
We don't know, and we grieve for things that don't. I think sometimes people think, well, grief is only for the death of a loved one. But it could be grieving of an idea. I'm 64 now. I get a sense that sometimes I'm grieving the loss of my vitality, as I become an elder in the community, right? So grief is sneaky.
It's very sneaky, and it could be physical death. So of a parent or a child or a spouse or some other dear one. Could be a pet, but it also could be the loss of a job, the change in a relationship. So maybe they're not dead, but you're not as close as you used to be. Like I talked about before, the not being able to experience something that we really wanted to experience. I feel like anytime life doesn't go the way we would have preferred, there's that feeling of loss and the opportunity to grieve. And if we don't, I believe that's where road rage comes from. That's where, you're from Jersey. That's why the box of Tasty Cakes is empty. That's why, who ate all the pizza? who ate all the lemon Oreos? And so we take our grief experience out in surprising and wonderful ways, but it's with us until we allow ourselves to heal it, to feel it, so we can heal it.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize that even more, and I want to go back to the fact that he mentioned lemon Oreos. All right, he caused quite the stir the other night in
Got
the
everybody's
meeting.
attention.
Oh my God, I was like, lemon Oreos, and by the way, just to let you know, I went on Amazon. They tried. Reverend Robert, who's sitting right here, tried to buy them for us. He couldn't find them. They told him they only do them in the spring. But I went on Amazon.com because I know full well they have everything there. I've already ordered a pack. They'll be there when I get home. And I sent a box to Melissa Felipe because I know she wanted them too. So she's going to go home to lemon Oreos.
Don't tell anybody, but there are 2 packages in the auction tonight because I went this morning and Target has them. So I bought 2 packages for the auction tonight. Yeah. We get excited about the most wonderful things, don't we? Yeah, but they really are pretty amazing.
Hysterical.
Yes.
It really caused quite the stir.
Yeah.
Okay, so get back to be serious for a minute if I can. See, what happens is when we have loss, we have incremental little feelings that build up and we don't recognize that. So because you might feel like you have to go back to work sooner than you wanted to, or and especially, if you have children to take care of or an elder to take care of, what happens is your temptation to return to normal can have you not catch the little signs, the little buildup that happens. And before you know it, you can be weeks, months, you could be years away from the event that would have caused the grieving and all the pain and suffering. And if you have not properly emoted and allowed for that it's going to have a sneaky buildup.
Yes.
That's what happens.
That's what happens. And so rather than shoulding on ourselves, I shouldn't feel this way, or I should do whatever, we can allow that. Just allow that. Allow that. Yes.
When my eldest sister passed away many years ago now, I think it's 10 years ago now, I was shocked at how I went on the couch and but not on the couch out of avoidance. This time I did it consciously and allowed myself to feel the pain and allowed myself to feel her missing. And it wasn't until she was gone that I realized I was not appreciating her enough, because she was the person in my life, in my family, that most allowed me to be me. Everybody else objected to me. But she made room for me to be radical and different and a strong woman. And then she was gone. I realized it was that feeling, where you lose your breath. And so these are some of the beautiful conversations that happen at conferences. If you have not given yourself the gift of a conference, especially during this time, again, I encourage you to do so. Sometimes you just might sit with somebody and there might not be much of an exchange, but being seen in that way is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So, okay, so here you are, you're the president of Anton, you are teaching this, and encouraging people to be in their grief and to allow it and to heal. By the way, we don't heal from grief, we heal because we experience grief. Grief is not something you want to heal from. It's just meant to be allowed. Just allowed, right? So I want to be clear about that. I want to say that correctly. And then you're doing that other good work in San Diego. Holy cow. So if you could leave our community, our New Thought Media Network community, with a gem, something that you think that maybe people aren't thinking about all the time, what do you want to leave them with? What pearl of wisdom is really what I'm asking.
There's I believe it's a Hindu saying, help your brother's boat across, and your own will reach the shore. So as we allow ourselves to serve, it's not possible to not be served ourselves. And so as we are able, because we've not been able to for a little while, but as we are able, get out and look for what makes your heart sing in service and do it, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, beautiful. You know, we had a board meeting a couple of days before we got on. Actually, it was the day before we left, I believe. And I had not been feeling well. I caught all the year for 18 months I've worn masks and been safe, and suddenly I catch a cold from my grandson, which was totally worth it because he was kissing me on the mouth. Which and he's the most adorable little thing you've ever seen. I just adore him. Anyway, he's going to be 6 this year. They are my heart, my grandchildren. And what happened was, so I usually do the spiritual practice, and I wasn't prepared this time around. So my board president, I asked my board president to take it over, and she asked a question, and it was a brilliant question. And the question was to each one of us, what fills you? What keeps you going? What makes you get up? What has you return to service? And I thought, oh, that was so brilliant. And I went last, which is not characteristic of me. Usually I'm kind of process these things pretty quickly. And everybody around the table really had beautiful things to offer. And I went last, and excuse me, folks. And what came up for me is from the time I was a little girl, and I don't know why, but service was always the thing for me. I can't imagine doing things in a vacuum. If I have a new idea, I want you to have that idea. If I take a vitamin, I think it works, I want you to take it. If I see a good movie, I want to share it. I have never, not because I consciously wanted to be that way, it was innate in me. I can remember as a little girl laying in my bed, imagining that, and I'll set the scene. I was very young. I grew up in this little town called North Bergen, New Jersey, which is in Hudson County, not Bergen County for you Jersey folks, and not a great place. We lived above a car garage, but my parents had bought me a little canopy bed, and I can remember laying there, looking up at it, and thinking, and dreaming about the future. And my version of how I wanted to be in service at the time was I wanted to have a food store where everything was very available. Because I can remember we never had enough money. And my mother always had to cut coupons, and they came out of the Depression. So a lot of that Depression consciousness seeped into the family, right? But I always wanted to do something to make someone's life better. So I appreciate your quote, and I don't know how not to be that. And I mean no disrespect. Self-care is great, but the truth is, it's probably the reason why I don't practice great self-care, because I do put others first. And I'm just not I am practicing better self-care, but I'm not going to put myself down for being in service to humanity.
Well, and wouldn't you say that your service to humanity is part of your self-care?
Well,
without going overboard.
It gives breath. It gives me breath.
It makes our tails wag.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The other side of it is sometimes I don't take very good care of myself. No, there's that. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm never going to lie. But I'm looking to marry them. I'm working now diligently to marry them. I really am. And but being in service to me is the most precious, the most beautiful, the greatest thing that I can think of. And so for each one of you, and that can take many forms. I'm going to go on a soapbox for just a minute, a quick minute. You can even serve humanity. Hello, Mark Anthony Lord.
Hey.
See, everyone's here.
Yep.
Mark has also been on my show. You can serve humanity simply by practicing being non-judgmental and by not objecting to life. It's not that you always have to be proactive. By simply not objecting, not finding fault, and practicing do no harm is a beautiful way to be in service to humanity. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the allowing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And next September we'll do this again.
Absolutely.
from the same lobby, or maybe we'll do it from the front of the room and include in a bunch of people. And I'm so glad to be here with you once again. Give to New Thought Media Network. I'm so glad I will be back with you next week from New Jersey. I don't remember if I have a guest or not, but we'll be having some new guests, a whole new line of friends and family. And as I say to you every week, be well, be happy, be brilliant. I love you. Good seeing you. Bye.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience, or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.